We are live. Good morning. Good morning. We are here for another Saturday of breath work and meditation. And here to also chat a little bit about Libra season. I promised you last week that we'd tap in a little bit more because we're about a week in. And so it's been about a week or so of that energy to settle in. Maybe some of us has gotten to bumping up against a couple of edges. Maybe we're just kind of smooth sailing because we've already gone through a bit of balancing lessons for the year of really getting those foundations down. So we'll talk about Libra for a little bit today. We're going to do a couple of warm-ups and meditation to really get the body activated, do a little bit of breath of fire, get some heat warming, get some real sort of physical release through the body, and get us balanced before we get to our meditation today. And it's going to be an 11-minute meditation to unlock the lock of the heart. So it's going to open up that heart center, open up the chest, really get us into this space where we're working with that Libra sort of air energy. And again, just coming from a place of compassion. So the last few weeks, we've been working on anger. We've been working on really learning how to express that, move it through the body, and have that awareness of sort of where we are at with that balance. So let's just dive right in to Libra season. I have a couple of cards here that I will show you because, again, visuals, I'm a visual person, so I always want to throw some visual stuff out there. This is Tarot of the Holy Spectrum. And this is what is going to be normally your more like traditional visual for justice, which is Libra season. So you've got this veil, this cloak that's sort of over the eyes. It's that idea of blind justice. We have the scales of justice here, sort of balancing that out. And then we have a sword. And so normally, this is another one, Golden Thread Tarot. We've got the sword of truth is what it's referred to as. And we've got some balancing there. This is the wild unknown. And again, we've got that sword of truth, and we've got the little cats here to show us sort of like that yin and yang, that Ida, Pingala, the divine masculine or feminine energy coming into balance. And when we think of justice, we can have, it's very natural to have this sort of human idea of justice, of what's happening within our world and how, if we look at our justice system and ways that we either choose to punish someone or blame someone for something that has happened, putting us in a space where we are trying to define what is fair or unfair, what is good or bad, good or evil, right or wrong. It gets us into this space where we're very much in this all or nothing or black and white thinking. And our lesson here, the invitation to sort of grow here, is figuring out how to get a place to where we're not reacting and we're not trying to immediately label something, but we're getting to a place where we can use our own creativity to say, okay, rather than this triggering me, or rather than me trying to put this situation into a box, how can I just move forward with my creativity in a new way that maybe I haven't responded before? Or maybe this is an entirely new circumstance that is in need of a new solution that hasn't been thought of yet. How can we move past that into something that's greater? And it takes a lot of balancing the head with the heart, because the heart can get us in this place where, as much as we are leading from a place that we think is heart-centered, when we've got that feel of injustice, or we feel like something is not fair or someone is not being held accountable, it can get us into this really fiery place. And the yogis have said that when that fire in your heart is pumping, it can either cook for you or it can burn down your entire house and be sort of destructive. And I think that we've sort of all been in that area where we know when we're feeling that, it's hard to let go of it and hard to let go and just let it be and figure out, okay, what can I do? Rather than placing the blame, what can I do to hold myself accountable? How can I think of, okay, this isn't the way that it's always been. This isn't the way that it's always going to be. I can remember that I have my will. I can remember that I have my compassion. I can remember that I have this balance between head and heart to get me into a space where I can move through creatively of my own accord using my intuition. So that's what we're going to focus on today. We're going to focus on working on our nervous system with that 11-minute meditation, because the nervous system is the thing that puts us back into that space again. When we bump up against that edge and something isn't quite right when it's sitting with us, the nervous system goes, okay, this is an emergency. We're either shutting down, we're either going to do fight, flight, freeze, or appease, and maybe move into some sort of people-pleasing behaviors as to not rock the boat. These are really challenging times, and we're all running into things with our families. We're looking at political stuff. We're dealing with the coronavirus. We're dealing with being isolated. We're dealing with grieving of plans that have lost, things that we planned to do, maybe ideas of what we wanted for the year. So this is reaching a bit of a culmination. Very important time to get that balance, get that foundation back in check, because we're moving into winter. We had the equinox about a week ago as well. And so, in the northern hemisphere, we're here going from fall, moving into winter. The days are starting to get shorter. We're having less sunlight, which means more darkness. So how do we continue, even with that darkness coming through, how do we continue to care for ourselves? How do we continue to find that balance in us so that even though the sun may be going the way and the sun may be having less rays, we still have that internal fire. We still have that spark, that purpose, that mission, that value, that thing that is our foundation that's going to keep us on center, to keep that spark going throughout the winter and not let it kind of be snuffed out at all. So we'll go ahead and get started. Bring yourself sitting onto your mat in a cross-leg position. And we will do a bit of turning inward. And before we do, since we're trying to balance head with heart, I found that a way to get out of the head is to get into the body. So I want us to take a few moments before we tune in, just to take some time to connect with the body. So let your hands do the work here and move around on your legs, a little bit of drumming. And just take a few moments here to just touch every part of your body. So get the bottoms of your feet, the soles, the toes, the arms, the hands, the chest, behind the back, the neck, the face, the head. Don't miss any parts of your body. Do what you can to be in the here and now, reminding yourself that you are here, you're not in the head. You're not focusing on what's coming next, the what ifs, the reactions. Get up under your bum to get all of those pieces. You can give yourself light, loving taps. You can give yourself hard taps. If you've got a little bit of that energy still wanting to move for you. Really work on touching every bit. Notice how it feels to have these sensations with the body. Recognizing that this space is here, the space is experiencing sensation in the moment, not getting swept away in any other ideas or triggers that are going to take me away from this present moment. All right, very good. Allow yourself now to come to a cross-legged position. Bring your left hand over your heart and then let your right hand sit on top of that. Bring the gaze inward and upward to the third eye, so that place just above the brow. Begin to take a moment again to just connect to the body. Doing a mental scan, focusing on the senses. So we're just working on our sense of touch, but maybe we work on what we are hearing at the moment. If we just focus in on the breath, inhaling deeply, letting it originate from the belly, from the diaphragm. And exhaling completely. Begin to notice how the breath shows up in the body, the sound that it makes. Know that at any time you can always return to the breath as an anchor. If the mind begins to become overactive, if you feel in the body that you are having a nervous system response, we can take a moment to connect to the breath here and place us back into the here and now. Today, as we work on balancing the head and the heart, we're going to want to call upon the internal reserve of compassion for ourselves and for others. So take a moment now just to show yourself a bit of compassion, give yourself a break for some of the things that you've been struggling with. It's all part of the process. Begin to notice now where your body is connected to the ground. So it could be the sit bones at the base of your spine, the side of your foot, maybe the side of your leg, your calf or shin. Once you notice where you are rooted, use those areas to root as you rise up through the rest of your body, lengthening one vertebrae at a time. From the base of the spine all the way up through the crown of the head, almost like someone was pulling a string up to the top. As we lengthen, we're creating more space within ourselves to breathe, to invite that life force of prana into the body. Lifting the chest, showing the heart what it is like to feel light instead of maybe heavy. and drawn in. From here, take a moment to set an intention for today's practice. Today we're focusing on balance, on justice, on truth, compassion, accountability. Maybe your intention shows itself to you as a phrase. Maybe it's one word, maybe it's a color or an image. Begin to rub the palms together at heart center, giving yourself a little bit of activating energy to seal in that intention. And when you've got that intention sealed in, go ahead and find stillness at the heart center, pressing those palms together just slightly, feeling the knuckles of the thumbs against the chest. With your next inhale, bring the shoulders up towards the ears. Exhale, roll them down and back so that they sit just a little lower than before. From here, we'll tune in with the Adi mantra, Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Reminding ourselves that this creative force exists not only from the guides of our ancestors or those masters that came before us along this path to enlightenment and self-mastery, but knowing that it exists within us as well. And we can call on it whenever we take the moment to just be still. Inhale deeply. Exhale completely. And inhale to tune in. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Inhale deeply. Suspend the breath and apply Muband. So squeeze the anal sphincter, the sex organs. Pull that energy upwards from the base of the spine. Visualize it spiraling all the way up as it travels up through the heart space, up through the crown of the head. And before it's uncomfortable, exhale slowly, smoothly through the nose, keeping that gaze at the third eye. Letting the hands come down into Gyan Mudra or grasping the ground a bit if you feel you need some more grounding energy now. Take a moment here just to witness the space that you've created. Doing another body scan, noticing where there still may be a bit of tension in the body. Today we will work on letting that go. And celebrate where you may have already created an expansion just from vibrating and projecting your own powerful voice. Very good. Okay, when you're ready, you can blink your eyes open. Begin a little bit of warm up, just to warm up the spine, warm up that area so that all of our nerves that are connected to our spine, we're going to get it in a place where they're ripe for receiving those messages, ripe for giving our body those feel-good hormones that we're going to produce today. So let the hands come to the tops of the knees and slowly begin to rotate the heart center around the base of the spine. Letting your breath be an anchor here. Inhaling as you move forward. Exhaling on the way back. Keep that chest lifted. Feel that pride in your body. Good. On your next exhale, take a moment to pause and then begin rotating in the opposite direction. Still inhaling forward, exhaling back. Being mindful to keep that foundation, keep yourself rooted. Just focus on rotating the heart space, opening up those hips a little bit. Maybe noticing the difference between rotating on one side and the other. Without judgment, just a little bit of healthy curiosity. Slowly begin to make your circles smaller and smaller until you come to a neutral space at center. Inhale deeply. Exhale completely. Begin to work on quieting the mind a little bit with this one. Let the hands come to the front of the shins for spinal flexes. And as we move forward with the inhale and backwards with the exhale, we're going to add a mantra to this as well. So on the inhale, we'll think the word Sat, S-A-T, and on the exhale, Nam. So Sat Nam means truth is my identity. We're here to connect with that truth today, to not be thrown off course by external stimulus, external triggerings, however you'd like to think of it. Again, we're feeling that flex here from the very bottom of that lower back area. Inhale forward. Exhale, release. Let the hands come to the front of the knees now. They can either be right on the top, or for me, I feel like my arms are a little long, so I almost rest my wrists on the end so that I can get that lock in the elbow here, keeping the arms straight. Again, spinal flexing, same forward with the inhale, backwards with the exhale, mentally vibrating Sat Nam. The flex is coming more from this heart area now, heart space, a little bit more of the upper back area. You use the straight arms almost as like a little resistance area, a little bit of leverage. Try to keep the head as motionless as possible here. Just kind of let it move, almost as if it was floating in a way. And this flex almost feels a little bit more of flexing the heart space up, rather than feeling as much of that forward flex, I guess, as the lower back would be. Good. Inhale forward. Exhale. The legs come out in front, whether spread wide or just straight out, whatever's going to feel more comfortable to you. Just get a little bit of stretch, a little bit of bounce in the legs, a little bit of movement, maybe some more drumming, depending on what you feel like you need right now. Some little windshield wiper movements. Maybe flexing the feet, feeling that stretch from the tips of the toes all the way up to the hips. Good. Okay, bring the legs back in. Get yourself grounded with those sit bones. Really focus on that foundation. This next one will be twisting from the rib cage here. So the hands come to the tops of the elbows, to the tops of the shoulders. Elbows stay parallel. Fingers in front, thumbs in back. Again, inhale as you turn to the left. Exhale to the right. If you like, you can also mentally vibrate. Sat, nam, sat, nam, sat, nam. Good. Inhale, center. Exhale. The hands and the arms come down. Come lying down onto your back. Any type of comfortable position for you. I'm going to rest here for just a moment. I've got a little bit of a blanket underneath my head. Still dealing with allergies in Central Texas, so if you need that, go ahead. You let the hands fall away from the sides of the body. A deep relaxation. Giving some relaxation to the shoulders and neck area. Again, just take a moment to check in with your space. Inhale deeply. Exhale completely. On your next inhale, bring the feet together. Bring the arms up overhead for a little full body stretch. On the exhale, bring the knees into the chest. Give yourself a little hug. Maybe rock from side to side. Bringing some relief to the lower back. Helping the spine lengthen and relax. Very good. Okay. From here, we're going to move some more of that anger out. We're going to move some more of that judgment out. We're going to make space for some compassion here. Working with breath of fire. What we will do, you can either keep your hands down by your sides, or if you need some more balance, you can feel free to place your hands underneath your bum. You can do your whole arms, whatever is going to work for you today. We are going to be kicking the bum with the heel. So aren't there times where, we kind of get in that space where we're really kind of kicking our own ass a little bit, or we feel that we need to be kicked in the butt a little bit. That's what we're going to do, but we're going to power breath fire with it. So essentially, every time that you kick yourself, you are going to exhale. So it's going to sound like this with breath of fire, and that breath originates from the navel point here. There you go. So we'll be here for a minute or so. Do your best. Have fun with it. This is kind of the not taking ourselves too seriously part of our spiritual practice. Again, arms either at your side or underneath your bum, and begin. Very good. Keep going. We're working on that foundation here. We're working on sending those vibrations all the way up through the spine. Make sure as you're breathing that you are keeping the shoulders relaxed, keeping the muscles on the face relaxed. Don't let those shoulders creep up towards the ears. Again, how can you find a bit of peace and balance throughout? Good. Inhale, bring the feet up, 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 overhead, 90 degrees. Exhale. Inhale once more. Exhale, lower the feet down, lower the legs down, slowly, slowly, slowly. Again, just hang out here and rest for a moment. Feel that energy circulating through the body. Notice how your space feels. And we begin to practice this relationship between provoking the body, provoking the mind, provoking the nervous system, recognizing it and finding stillness to get back to center, to get back to truth. Inhale deeply. Bring your feet together, bring the arms up overhead. Exhale, bring the knees into the chest. Again, give yourself a little hug, rock from side to side. And then find your way back to seated, either rolling along the spine, or you can simply turn over to one side and push yourself up. Take a moment here to get back to that meditative yogi posture, rooted through the base of the spine, lifted up all the way through the crown of the head. Feeling that chest space lifted, shoulders down and back. Take your left hand and with your right fingertips, find on your wrist where your pulse is located. So for me, it's kind of more along the side of where my thumb is at, but everyone's going to be different. Be patient if you can't find it quickly. Tune in with that pulse, and as you listen to the music, mentally vibrate, Sat Nam, every time you feel that pulse. Bringing that gaze inward and upward to the third eye. Just focus on you existing now, with this moment, with this breath, in your truth. If your mind draws you away from the present moment, return back to that pulse, return back to that beating. Inhale deeply. Exhale completely. And now we will get ready for our meditation. So on this one, we are going to use a mantra to guide us today. Anytime that we use mantra, it's kind of like a way to keep us with repetition, keep us on track as an anchor to keeping with the rhythm, keeping with the pronunciation, keeping with sort of the timing of the beat. It allows the brain to take a break and to create these new sort of neural pathways because we're not getting stuck into those ridges again. So you knowing your mind, knowing how you tend to get off course, whether it is replaying the past and maybe having either regrets, having those feelings of injustice, having those feelings of anger because someone was not held accountable for a thing and you feel that that is unjust. When we look at nature, there's not a lot of our sense of human justice going on. Like nature is cruel, nature is scary, nature just has sort of this universal law that it abides by. And we're a part of it too, but there's something in us that makes us think we can rise above that and we can very much control things. And that's not always the truth. There are some things we have control over and some things that we don't. So when we sit on these things, we can start to notice, okay, if I'm replaying things in the past, or maybe I am future planning of, I want to control this situation. So I'm already thinking about a conversation I'm going to have. Or I'm already making plans of how I want the next month to go or the next year to go. And not really being present in the moment for what the process has to show us and sort of just enjoying that journey a little bit. We don't need to get too far ahead of ourselves. So sitting in on that, when you start to do the mantra and you start to do the repetition, rather than the brain at any idle moment, rather than the brain going, oh, past, or oh, future, or dipping into those very familiar sort of pathways of thinking, We're going to allow the brain to take a little bit of a break and to make space for that stillness and make space for our creativity to whatever comes in rather than reacting or going with sort of that same programming of like, if this stimulus happens, then I respond this way. We can start to create these new things if we are just still instead of activating the nervous system. So all of that to say, the mantra that we're going to be using today is HUD, and that's H-A-R. But, we're going to want to get the tongue stimulating the roof of the mouth. So when we get to the R, it almost sounds like a D sound. So it's HUD. And with the R, you feel it kind of flick against the top of the mouth, almost like H-U-D, HUD. And HUD is the creative force. And so we're going to channel that today as we open up the heart space to open up a locked heart space. So what it looks like is cross-leg position, still really hanging on to that foundation, and notice where you're rooted here. The arms are going to be by the sides with the palms open and facing each other. And what we're going to do is come in with this sort of great force, almost as if we're going to clap at the center of the chest, but we're going to resist at the very last moment. We're going to use that own strength to go, hey, I don't have to collide if I don't choose to, right? Take that out, swooping it back in. And every time you come to the center, you will chant, ha, 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 ha. Okay? But that will be mentally. It'll be mentally in the brain. So keep that vision of the third eye. You'll hear it with the song. And really focus on all of that force. Every time you meet up against that edge, you're going to feel your entire body is going to vibrate and send these shock waves. And that's what we want. We're sending all this stuff out. We're getting this tension out. We're opening up the locked of the heart space and readjusting the rib cage a bit. So we'll be here for 11 minutes. It's you against yourself today. Be kind. Work through it, and we'll see you on the other side. Good, you got this. Keep feeling that movement like shock waves. You're more than halfway. Keep going. If the movement is beginning to be difficult, maybe there is another way to move through it with more ease. Use your creativity. Notice where you're carrying tension. 90 more seconds. You got this. We go through these kriyas, these intense ones, to remind us that we have the mental strength to get through the blocks that we put on ourselves. Inhale deeply. Keep those hands, bring them into around the solar plexus area so they're not quite touching. Maybe 3 inches apart. Exhale, keep that gaze inward and upward. Just notice your space. Keep those palms closed. Meditate on this energy here that you've created. And you can also begin to work with this energy a bit. So if you flex the hands, move them in and out just a bit. You can see what that energy feels like. If you feel any resistance. Just notice and play with what that balance feels like. This is creating stillness after we are activated. Deep inhale. Complete exhale. And come down, lying onto your back for a very well-earned deep relaxation. So let yourself come lying down onto your back. Let your feet spread as wide as your mat. You can cover up with a blanket if you like. That one creates quite a bit of activating energy. So if you're sweating like me, maybe no blanket for today. But do whatever feels nice for you. Spread the feet as wide as the mat. Let the arms fall away from the sides of the body, palms facing up. And begin to relax your breath as you relax into your spirit. Relax the tops of the feet, the ankles, calves and knees. Relax the thighs, Relax the hips. As you relax your breath, relax the belly. Relax the lower back. Relax the rib cage and the shoulder blades. Again, sinking deeper into the floor. Relax the arms. Relax the hands. Relax the elbows. Bring the shoulders down away from the ears. Relax the neck. Relax the jaw so there's space between the teeth. The muscles on the face. The eyes behind the eyelids. Brow. Forehead. Scalp are all at ease as your head rests gently against the ground. Allow yourself now to rest as your body integrates all the work that you've put in today. Feel the energy circulating through you as your body heals its 3 trillion plus cells. Slowly begin to deepen your breath as you return back to your body in this moment in time and space. Begin to invite tiny movements into your fingertips and toes. Begin to rotate the hands around the wrists and the feet around the ankles in all directions. With your next inhale, bring the feet together, bring the arms up overhead again for a full body stretch. Just like you're waking up in the morning. And then exhale, bring the knees into the chest. Give yourself a hug. Rock from side to side. Again, giving that lower back, those kidneys, those adrenal glands some love. Lengthening the spine just a bit. From here, begin to rub together briskly the palms of the hands, the soles of the feet. Rub the tongue along the roof of the mouth, stimulating the body's energy centers and meridian points. From here, you can, again, either rock and roll along the length of the spine at least 3 times to get to seated, or simply push yourself up after rolling over to one side. So we will conclude today's practice by singing the Long Time Sunshine song to send out our peace and blessings. Take a moment first to bring your hands to heart center and reconnect with your intention for today's practice. Inhale deeply. Exhale completely. And inhale to sing. May the long time sun shine upon you. All love surround you. And the pure light within you guide your way on. May the long time sun shine upon you. All love surround you. And the pure light within you guide your way on. Guide your way on. Guide your way on. May we be happy, may we be healthy, may we be holistically in union, mind, body, spirit, to be balanced in this Libra system. May we act through compassion so as not to misunderstand the times. Satnam. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today. Hopefully, this brought you some more insight into Libra season and how you can continue on. If you or anyone you know are needing a bit more help, a bit more assistance with setting down some structure next weekend on October 10th, myself and Anna are doing a 2-hour workshop to help with self care planning to implement some habits that you may need for winter season. So, if you or anyone you know might benefit from that, go ahead and check out the website for more details. But until then, I will be here living on the interwebs on YouTube. So I will see you next time. Take care and Satnam.